Hello nerds! It's a quick week in nerddom this episode, so we're just gonna jump into the intro. Thank you for watching Generally Nerdy and Music. Hello nerds! Thank you for watching Generally Nerdy. This is your week in Generally Nerdy. First things first, in music news, we're talking about He Is Legend. They gave us a new video for a video called Boogiewoman. It's honestly one of my favorite tunes off of their new record that's coming out, so definitely worth a check. Link in the description. We've got a really interesting update about DragonForce. DragonForce just went platinum certified by the RIAA for their song Through the Fire and Flames. Kind of took them a while to get there, but that's really epic. Not a lot of stuff goes platinum anymore because the requirements are so much harder to get there with the streaming services being as popular as they are. I think what used to count as one sell, so when you would sell one song, one MP3 on a platform, on iTunes, that was one sell. Now, through streaming, 150 plays equals one sell. So that's pretty different. So that's pretty freaking awesome. Just wanted to throw a congratulations out to the guys in DragonForce. And then our last bit in music has to do with Rammstein. And it's not actually their music that's in the news this time, though if you haven't checked out the new record, I definitely suggest you do so. Always a fantastic job that Rammstein does in the studio, so definitely listen to the new record. But the news is that Till, the lead singer, has been accused of assault. Apparently, they were playing in Munich just a few days ago, and after the show, Till was hanging out with a friend of his at a bar in Munich, and someone insinuated that his friend, who happened to be female, may or may not be a street worker. Till confronted the man puffed up his chest back, and according to reports, Till elbowed him in the face, breaking his nose and possibly dislocating his jaw. Note to self, don't pick a fight with a 7-foot German guy with a mohawk and crazy amounts of facial piercings. Then we're talking about gaming. Only one bit in gaming for this episode. We have a Cyberpunk 2077 update. That's honestly just a really interesting thing that you didn't really get from the announcement, and I'm sure like other outlets have covered this that have been on the floor at E3 this week, but apparently there is a way to beat that game completely non-lethally. So you can go through without killing a single person. Now, probably there's going to be some video game logic involved that says, well, our version of this bullet or our version of this gun is non-lethal because it just knocks the person out. Whereas in real life, you probably would have sent that person to the hospital with some severe, potentially fatal injuries. But still, that's a really cool element to this, what has been blown up in the media to be this uber, like, masculine, very misogynistic and violent game. This looks to be a great way to counteract those arguments. And in TV news, we have a really interesting spin-off announcement. For those of you old enough to remember, there was a show on MTV back forever ago, as in ended in 2002, there was a show called Daria, which itself was a spin-off from Beavis and Butthead. Well, now MTV has just announced that they're going to be doing a spin-off from Daria called Jodie. Tracee Ellis Ross has signed back on to be the voice of the titular character, and the show is actually currently very much actively in production. Next, we got our first trailer from Epix for the Pennyworth series, the next pre-Batman show that is going to be on television, and this one actually looks a little more interesting. Judging from this trailer, we are going to get a lot of the Earth 1 storyline in a very different light, but still seems to be borrowing very, very heavily from that story. And our last update this episode for TV news has to do with Netflix, because usually everything has something to do with Netflix at this point, doesn't it? This time, the minds behind the Fast and Furious franchise have announced that they're going to be teaming up with Netflix for an animated series called Spy Racers. There are some stills out floating about on the internets, so you can go find those. It sounds like the main storyline is going to revolve around Vin Diesel's character's younger cousin that we have yet to actually meet in the movies, though I would imagine if this animated series does at least halfway decent, we will eventually meet this character in the movies proper. Now, let's talk about movie news. And first thing for movie news has to do with A Quiet Place 2. A lot of speculation has been going around with what exactly is going to be in this movie. Where is the narrative going to take us? Well, Bryan Tyree Henry, one of the actors in the movie, told IndieWire during an interview that we're going to be getting some history behind the very mysterious monsters that we met in the first movie. So at least some of our questions about the history of this world that John Krasinski has created will be answered with this second movie, hopefully leading into a third movie if this one does well. And then our last bit of movie news, like I said, it's going to be short this episode, but our last bit of movie news has to do with the Batman movie. And Macaulay Culkin took to his social media recently to debunk any rumors that he was going to be playing the Joker in this new Matt Reeves adaptation. In other news, Macaulay Culkin was rumored to be the Joker in the Batman? Weird. Now let's talk about comic books, nerds. We have 3 pieces in comic book news, and the first of which is Silver Surfer Black. It's a new series that's going to be coming to Marvel. They just released a trailer. There's not a whole lot in the trailer. It's really just kind of behind the scenes stuff, but it's interesting, and it's something I feel like if comic books want to stay more relevant in the cultural conversation at large, more stuff like this should happen, because everybody is watching YouTube and consuming these videos on an hourly basis. So this makes sense to bring these books and these stories and all of this writing into the forefront of the conversation. So I think this is a really cool thing. I'm really excited about the Silver Surfer book. Definitely link in the description. Go check out this trailer for Silver Surfer Black. Then we're talking about Major X. We've talked about Major X a couple of times before. This time is the 5th issue, which is the second to last, or the penultimate, if you will, revealed some very interesting things about his parentage. We already knew that he had some sort of link to Cable. So we kind of figured, and I believe it even expressly said it in the book, I can't remember specifically, that Cable was his dad. But then who was his mom? It seems that, spoiler alert, Storm is Major X's mom. Very interesting, kind of opens up a whole slew of new questions that we won't get answered at the very earliest until the next issue, which is next month. But oh man, that's very interesting writing for this new character. And then our last piece of comic book news has to do with Tom King's Batcat book. In Tom King's Batman Catwoman book, apparently he's going to bring back the Phantasm. That's right, the Phantasm. A character we've honestly only seen in the comics, I think once or twice before. And obviously there's the movie. No word yet as to if this is actually going to be the same Phantasm we've seen in the past, Andrea Beaumont, or if this is going to be a new iteration of the character. That has not been made clear. We just have the announcement and some cover art showing the Phantasm in the Batcat series. So I might start reading Tom King's writing again, because that intrigues the hell out of me. Thank you, nerds, for joining me once again for your week in Nerdom. What did I miss? What should we talk about at the end of the week? Let me know in the comments down below. All of the usual stuff I say at the end of the show. You know, website, generallynerdy.net, patreon.com/generallynerdy, all of the usual stuff. Do all of the things. Social medias are on the website. You can find them there or linked down in the description, much like everything else. If you're new to the channel, there's a subscribe button. If you like the episode, click the like button, or otherwise, if otherwise noted. And if you're falling behind in your nerd news and you want to catch up, you can click or tap that box right there to the left of my face to do that. But before we go, guys, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.